This is a follow-up on a video I made yesterday about perception, affordances and sexuality, particularly male sexuality. And what I was suggesting there is that it's very, very common, possibly to the point of ubiquity, for men, when they look at a woman, and talk about heterosexual men, when they look at a woman, to have passed through their mind the possibility of having sex with her. The first question I suggested was, can I fuck her? I just wanted to flesh out some stuff to do with that, particularly to do with mind, I think. So I'm not sure if I said mind in that, or whether I said head or brain or whatever, but I think mind is really important. Because what I'm not suggesting, although I think this probably is the case for many people, possibly including myself, what I wasn't suggesting though is that it's ubiquitous or even particularly common for every man to consciously get that thought, woman, let me just evaluate her. Oh yeah, I'd fuck her, you know. I think that clearly does happen in many cases. One of the commenters was talking about a rating system that someone they knew had, you know, fuckable plus, that kind of thing. There's also an episode of Family Guy where Stewie, little baby on there, I can't remember the circumstances, but he's either going through a series of pictures or looking at girls, and he's going, do you, not do you. You know, basically doing that same kind of quite overt and fully conscious calculation. That's not what I'm suggesting is ubiquitous. I'm suggesting it's something much more primal, almost foundational, fundamental, which doesn't necessarily mean important or predominant. Which is to do with mind, I think. But it would require me to talk about what mind is, at least as my understanding. Because I'm not talking about mind as just a kind of computer processor, you know, as just a really rational system that just does some ticking over. I'm talking about mind as being a whole set of systems in which, yes, of course, they use the brain. The brain is the key part of it, for sure. But also, you know, you use the somatic systems of the body, the brain stem, where these things come together, the central nervous system, the adrenal system, you know, all this information gathering stuff that your body does, you know, coming out through the perception, through your eyes, through your pheromonal, you know, the orders that your pheromonal detecting systems are using, the touch of your skin, the temperature, the air that's passing across your face, all this sensory engagement stuff. I'm not saying that mind is at large. I'm not saying that. I'm not making a completely holistic and pan-psychist understanding of mind. I'm not saying that. I'm saying mind is predominantly the thing that the brain is doing, but it's doing it in concert with this little orchestra of internal bodily regulation and homeostatic and engagement systems, and the sensors that are at work outside. You know, because your brain is constantly being bombarded with information from these systems, and it's sensing information back out into your body to react to these things, you know. You know, I'm walking down this path here, which is this disused railway line again. I'm walking down here, and I'm not thinking about what my feet are doing, but I'm not falling over. I'm not tripping over sticks. I'm not wandering off the path very much. And I'm not doing that because, you know, whilst I'm doing this, even whilst I'm talking, I'm walking, my body has enough contact with the world around me. You know, my peripheral vision is seeing the path underneath me. It's remembering the lump of dog shit in the path ahead, you know, 50 feet ahead. It's taking avoidance actions prior to my arrival, you know. So all of that processing is completely embodied and felt. And, you know what I mean? The same with these guys. You know, their body is completely engaged in what they're doing, just as mine is. And it's you know, it's partly of it's emotional, you know, your feelings of disgust about that piece of dog shit, partly practical about not wanting to clean it off your shoe when you get home, but also it's completely incorporated, you know, it's corporeal. It's about, you know, where you need to shift your weight in order to be able to navigate around it, what kind of a swerve you need to put on your step, you know, all that kind of stuff really. And it's the same with wants and desires. You know, the example of avoiding the dog shit obviously is disgust, but if there's something particularly attractive, visually attractive, let's say, or tactilely attractive. You know, many of the time I'll be walking down a road, not this one, and there'll be a fence or something like that, or a wall, and there's just something, I don't even think about it, but I just find myself putting my hand on it. You probably do this too, you know, and just let my hand run across the fence, you know. And what kid hasn't got a stick and done that along a fence? Click, 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 you know. without thinking, you know, completely without thinking really, usually. It's just your body is just doing this thing where it engages with the world around it, with what the world can do, what sensory engagements are pouring in through it, what's to avoid, what's to incline towards. And even to the level of your eyes, you know, I've talked about this, for example, before. Some great studies have been done about the way the eyes do this. Like that. It's called saccading. The eyeball just shakes slightly, it's constantly moving around and fixating and moving around, fixating. But if there's something is placed that's attractive, over here where my hand is, you know, like a cake, you know, cakes, my eye, I know I was hungry and I liked cakes, my eye would saccade in that direction. I wouldn't be controlling it, I might not even be aware of it as my eye. In fact, I might not even see the damn cakes initially. But my eye would be doing this. Ooh, look at this, this is attractive. You know, because my attentional systems and my attractive systems and my homeostatic systems and the engagement systems are doing this thing and, you know, are pulling me in those directions. And speaking as a man, and please don't tell me I'm the only one, I'll feel terrible if I'm the only one. Am I the only man who, you know, when there's a woman with a low-cut top on, you do this. Ooh. You can feel it. You can feel it, you know. If you pay attention, it's like there's something pulling you down. But it's not so much that, it's like you can feel yourself having to force it up. It's like your body is trying to do something. Your body is trying to look down at their breasts. Yeah, you look at my cakes, your body is trying to do that. Because that's what it does. You know, the reptile, the rabbit that runs through your body is doing that. And you have to apply a little bit of civilization and keep the eyes up. But it's far as effort, you can feel the effort if you do it right, you know. Don't look at those cakes, keep looking front and centre. And that's the mind, isn't it? Isn't that the mind at work? Isn't it the mind? The mind is pulling them down, and another part of the mind is pulling them up, you know. Your basal ganglia and your adrenal system and your reward systems are pulling your eyes down towards the titties. Titties! And your prefrontal cortex and your temporal lobes are pulling them back up again. It's like weightlifting. Misogynistic weightlifting. So you know, so that's what I mean about mind. It's that. I'm not saying men are thinking all the time, should I have sex with her? Yes, I think I jolly well will. No, that's far too rational. It's other things, much more atavistic systems that are at work. Much more atavistic systems. Really early on. And those are atavistic systems which in evolutionary biological terms were in place a long time before we had language, a long time before we had consciousness even. You know, at least the kind of consciousness which we identify as consciousness now. You know, they were in places long before that. You know. So I don't know about that. So, you know, it's that thing, isn't it, really? Now, I'm not saying it justifies anything. Of course not. In fact, I would say the reverse. But yeah, that's what I mean by mind, and that's what I mean by when before a man sees a woman and recognises as a woman, his mind, the mind that is incorporated and embedded in an environment, his mind is already saying, "Can I fuck her? Can I fuck her?"